Opposites, a Dvar Torah for Parashat Nitzavim. What's the opposite of tall? If you answered short, know that you're in good company, but it's only a relative contrast, meaning an attempt to define tall raises the question tall compared to what? A tall child will still, in most cases, be shorter than a short adult, and you shouldn't forget your jacket on a hot day in the South Pole. Sometimes, however, defining an absolute opposite is possible. For example, yes is, if you're not a politician, the opposite of no. The color black, which absorbs all light particles that create color and returns nothing, is the opposite of the white color, which absorbs nothing and returns everything. According to this definition, to find the opposite of a color, all we have to do is find which color articles are absorbed and which are not, and then flip it, and we will be able to discover what is the opposite color, like film negatives for those who actually remember what they are. An example of these types of opposites can be found at the end of Parashat Nitzavim. God gives us life and good, and it's clear that the opposites are death and evil. Another example, life equals blessing versus death, which equals a curse. Since a person cannot be described as less alive or more dead, except for in The Princess Bride, where Wesley is only mostly dead, we should probably define the terms alive and dead as absolute opposites. The question that remains is, what or how do we define their associates? Can a quantitative term find its absolute opposite? Bad is the opposite of good, but it's not clear that we can define them as absolute opposites because it is possible to be better or not so horrible. Can a good third grader learn more, know more, be more responsible than a bad doctoral student? Blessings and curses are even more complex. Are blessings and curses opposites? What do the words even mean? Since this isn't the subject of the discussion, I'll only mention Ibn Ezra's interpretation in Bereshit on the words bless, meaning be fruitful and multiply, and curse, which means may his life be short. According to this, they might be opposites. One adds life and the other lessens, but more and less are about quantity. Even in Parashat Habrit, which appears at the beginning of the parasha, opposites show interesting properties. When I read the parasha, I noticed that many words meant to stand. For example, the people Nitzavim lema'an hakim. A covenant was made with those who omed po imanu hayom, are standing here with us. And when they want to return, your sons will yakumu acharichem, they will arise. The attitude towards standing in these cases is positive. The covenant is made standing, allegorically and physically. And what is the opposite of standing? That depends on who and when we ask. A person who's been on his feet all day will now want to sit or lie down. On the other hand, if he was standing in traffic, he'll be very happy when he starts moving. In any case, when the Torah describes the opposite of upholding the covenant, it uses the phrases who dwelt, yashavnu, in the land of Egypt, and passed, avarnu, among the Gentiles. His heart turned, pana, today, to go, lalechet, to serve. In the will of my heart I will go, elech, and all the curse that is written in this book shall lie, viravtza, on him. And they have left, ozvam, and Hashem uprooted, vaitchem. Although lying down and running are different, both are sometimes the opposite of standing. Does this mean that standing is always positive and moving or running negative? Not necessarily. The next parasha begins, Vayelech Moshe, and Moshe went, and I haven't heard any criticism on the matter. Although Avraham still stands before God, in the story of Sodom, Lot is told, do not look behind you and do not stand. These are two of many examples that show that it all depends on the situation. In conclusion, we learned a bit about the atmosphere of a passage, standing versus not standing, and about different types of opposites. We saw the difference between concepts that can have different meanings, and we learned some Tanakh. Did you enjoy this? Or maybe the opposite? I am Dovi Holtz, one who loves Tanakh.